Coming up on Vallo Vision News, some tips and resources you should know about this flu season. Hello and welcome to Vallo Vision News. I'm Kelly Garrett. Thanks so much for watching. We start today with breaking news. There are now 6 confirmed deaths in the United States from the coronavirus, and it continues to spread. There are at least 100 cases being treated in the U.S. Around the world, there are more than 89,000 confirmed cases and over 3,000 deaths from the virus. Government and health officials are saying we should expect the virus to continue to spread. Karen Kaifa has the latest from Washington.
As cases of the novel coronavirus continue to spread, U.S. health officials say to expect that trend to continue.
Unfortunately, this is something that we expected. Whenever you have a respiratory disease that's easily transmissible, you're going to get community spread, and it's going to become difficult to pinpoint the source of each and every infection.
But they are also encouraging people to prepare and not to panic.
The risk to individuals from novel coronavirus right now is low. If you are healthy, then in most cases, you'll have a mild illness that will be like a bad cold or a flu. You'll feel bad for a few days, but you will recover.
This as local governments and health officials take over testing to try and get a handle on what an increasing number of cases diagnosed across the country could mean. From New Hampshire
it is an all-hands-on-deck effort
to New York.
We want to get our testing capacity as high as possible.
To Washington State, where health officials announced more coronavirus deaths Monday.
This is a complex and unprecedented challenge, locally, nationally, and globally.
President Trump also met with members of the coronavirus task force and pharmaceutical executives at the White House Monday to discuss the disease and the search for a vaccine. In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
President Trump is announcing a new screening procedure for the coronavirus. In a tweet Sunday, he said that in addition to screening travelers prior to boarding from certain designated high-risk countries, they will also be screened when they arrive in the U.S. It is not clear which passengers from which countries will receive this increased screening, but high-risk countries currently include Italy, South Korea, Iran, and China. The coronavirus scare is hitting during flu season here at UM. I asked UM Health Services students and even professors what we should do when we develop flu-like symptoms. The University of Vallo is no stranger to flu and other illnesses this time of year. While Student Health Services say they haven't seen a spike in cases this year over any other year, is still impacting students in the classroom.
If I'm feeling like I don't need to go to class, especially not to get anybody else sick, I'm not going to go to class.
Missing class because you're sick can be a hard decision to make when it comes to the work students will have to make up, but professors want to help you.
It's pretty simple. If you don't feel like coming to school, if you think you have a fever or the flu or something, stay home, take care of yourself, and then come back to class when you feel better. I think any faculty member will let you make up an exam if you're sick or something.
If you do get behind in classes because you're sick, there are resources on campus you can use to get back on track. The Learning Enrichment Center in Carmichael Library has tutors in almost every subject on campus. If you need help, set up an appointment with a tutor for one-on-one learning. Just visit the school's website or stop by on the bottom floor of the library to set up an appointment. Physical illness can also take a toll on your mental health as well. Counselors at the Granger Family Center for Counseling are here for you and can help you get back to feeling like yourself. But the first step in living healthy is acting healthy. I tried talking to Student Health Services this week about flu and other illnesses spreading around campus, but because of all of their appointments, there just wasn't enough time to talk. They did, however, give me some tips that you should know. Student Health Services say making an appointment at the first sign of an illness is not necessary and could be taking appointments from students with more serious cases. Rest, hydration, and self-care with over-the-counter medication is all that is needed in most cases. Student Health Services is also hosting a flu shot clinic this Wednesday from noon to 4 p.m. The clinic will be at Health Services located at East Main Hall. It is free to students, faculty, and dependents with insurance, and is $25 for those without insurance. You must bring your health insurance card with you to the clinic. Hundreds gathered in Selma on Sunday to reenact the famous 1965 Civil Rights March from Selma to Montgomery. This year is the 55th anniversary of the 1965 march in which hundreds of African Americans risked their lives for the right to vote. The original Bloody Sunday March resulted in many protesters being attacked and has become an iconic event in the civil rights movement. The 55th anniversary of Bloody Sunday brought most of the Democratic presidential candidates to Selma on Sunday. Joe Biden, Mike Bloomberg, Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, and Elizabeth Warren were among the crowds in Selma. Former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg and Senator Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota have both dropped out of the presidential race in the time since the Selma March. Both are expected to endorse former Vice President Joe Biden as the Democratic presidential nominee going into Super Tuesday, which is March 3rd. 14 states hold primary elections on Super Tuesday, including Alabama. The majority of delegates for the Democratic National Convention are up for grabs. With Klobuchar and Buttigieg dropping out of the race for the Democratic presidential nomination, only 5 candidates remain. Senator Bernie Sanders, former Vice President Joe Biden, former New York City Mayor Mike Bloomberg, Senator Elizabeth Warren, and Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard. Most polls currently have Sanders leading the pack for the Democratic nomination, with Biden trailing closely behind. In Alabama, 7 candidates are competing for the Republican nomination for the U.S. Senate seat, now held by Democrat Doug Jones. The GOP candidate includes Stanley Adair, U.S. Representative Bradley Byrne, former Alabama Chief Justice Roy Moore, State Representative Arnold Mooney, Ruth Page Nelson, former Attorney General Jeff Sessions, and former Auburn University football coach Tommy Tuberville. The winner of the GOP primary will face Jones in November. Also on the ballot Tuesday is Alabama Amendment 1. It would change how the State Board of Education is selected in Alabama. If approved, the governor would appoint people to the Education Board, and they would then have to be confirmed by the state. If the vote does not pass, the board will remain as it is, and members would be elected by voters in Alabama. Remember, there's always more news 24/7 on our social media pages. Just search for Vallo Vision News on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more stories throughout the week. Still ahead on Vallo Vision News, the FCC is cracking down on how cell phone providers, what they did with your information. Plus, the impact of coronavirus continues to threaten numerous businesses. Will it make buying your next formal dress problematic? And America's favorite TV judge will soon bang her gavel for the last time. We'll be right back.
Someone who can bring this.
Covering our campus, our community,
And all the stories that matter to you.
This is Vallo Vision News.
In this week's Consumer Headlines, the Federal Communications Commission wants to fine America's biggest wireless carriers over privacy violations. The FCC is proposing handing wireless companies tens of millions of dollars in fines. They allege AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile, and Verizon all failed to protect the privacy of U.S. cell phone users. The companies are accused of improperly sharing customers' real-time location information to third parties. Coronavirus fears have sparked a mad dash for cleaning products. Retailers like CVS and Walgreens say they've noticed an increase in demand for hand sanitizer, cleaning wipes, and face masks. The demand is so great that officials at CVS are worried there will be a shortage. The CDC says the best way to combat coronavirus is by washing your hands thoroughly with soap and water. Sanitizer isn't the only household product that could be in short supply because of the coronavirus. Procter & Gamble, the world's biggest consumer products company, says supply chain disruptions are expected to impact the amount of diapers, paper towels, and razors that will be available. The company's brands include Gillette, Downy, Duracell, Bounty, and Pampers. Meanwhile, the shoe company Crocs says it will lose an entire quarter's worth of revenue because of the virus. The coronavirus could cause a shortage of formal dresses. That's the warning from manufacturers as factories remain closed in China. China makes 80% of such gowns, according to the American Bridal and Prom Industry Association. Some retailers report a delay in tuxedo inventory as well. Still ahead, Hilary Duff is campaigning to be reunited with her beloved cartoon counterpart in a Lizzie McGuire revival, but her new adult take might be too much for Disney Plus and a PG rating. We'll be right back.
Create your future as a social media manager, filmmaker, journalist, and so much more with a degree in communication studies and mass communication. Visit montevallo.edu/COFA for more information. You belong at Montevallo.
The upcoming season of reality court TV, Judge Judy, will be the last. Judy Schindelin made the announcement in an interview with Ellen DeGeneres on Monday. She says the 25th season of Judge Judy on CBS will be the final one. According to JudgeJudy.com, in the 2018-19 season, her show averaged 10 million viewers a day. That year, she pocketed $147 million and was the highest paid TV host, according to Forbes. If you're a big fan, don't worry. Judge Judy said she isn't retiring, she teased, but didn't give many details about a new show in the works called Judy Justice. Hilary Duff says she wants to participate in a reboot of Lizzie McGuire, just not on Disney+. The actress played a preteen version of the character in the early 2000s, back when the show aired on the Disney Channel. The reboot follows Lizzie now that she's in her 30s, and Duff says it's not realistic to tell that story with a PG rating. She wants the show to air on Hulu instead of Disney+. Production of a reboot is on hold. Variety reports that's because the series creator has stepped away from the project. That's all the time we have for today's show. Remember, there's more news 24/7 on our social media pages. Just search for ValloVision News on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more stories throughout the week. Thanks for watching, and be sure to tune in next week to ValloVision News.